Hello and welcome back to Prompt Circle. And we're going to be having this amazing live stream where we're going to be building out an application purely on vibe coding. For everyone who's joining in or anyone who's watching later, welcome to the channel. This is a place where I just love to learn openly, trying out new technologies, trying out new capabilities out there, vibe coding my way through stuff, through problems that I want to solve. As someone who kind of works in the applied AI space, always exciting, always interesting to try out what's also personal to me. I mean, work days, I'm thinking about enterprise problems, but I also want to use AI to solve my own personal problems. So vibe coding is one way to do it, and so yeah, just gonna be vibing, right? So happy Sunday to everyone. Hope you're having a wonderful Sunday today. And so yeah, let's pop in and start building. So the problem I'm going to be trying to explore today is a problem that I have with regards to now that I've started streaming videos. I realized that people may not be able to go watch a 2 hour stream or something like that. So I want to be able to make small segments or smaller short videos. But I want it to be short videos that make sense. So taking small nuggets of information from the videos I've made and then converting them into smaller short videos. So those could be short videos or those could be just, like a 5 minute or 6 minute video that explains a particular concept. So because as we walk through these, we'll talk about concepts and things like that. And also, I think this is a really good way. I find that this is a really good way to continue to sharpen my skills, to continue to learn, to continue to do interesting things. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to be building this application. It takes in a long video, finds segments of that video that make sense, and converts that into a shorter video. That's basically it. So we're going to be using some AI here because we need to figure out, because I mean, a 2 hour video, if I have to sit down and do it, and this is one of the reasons, by the way, why I started streaming, was because sitting down and taking like a 2 hour long video and trying to chop it up or trying to figure out exactly what aspects should be made available as concise content can be very, very tough, right? So we need AI to be able to determine, okay, from this spot in the video to this spot in the video, from minute 5 to minute 7, there was an important nugget that could be a really good piece of content to share without getting someone to go watch the entire video. So we need AI to be able to understand that. But AI doesn't take video, or at least the LLMs don't take video as inputs. So I have to figure out a smart way of explaining to our LLMs what's going on in the video, and then using that to determine how to cut the video and stuff like that. So for this particular vibe coding session, we're going to be using Replit. Now, the reason I want, and I'll just talk about Replit very, very quickly. The reason I'm using Replit is because Replit is a fully contained environment for building applications, right? So you're not really having to think about so many of the things that actually get your application into production, because Replit is going to handle that for you. So databases, secret management, hosting your application, all these different things are things that you have to think about typically when you're building any application. Replit is going to take care of all of that for you. And all you really need to care about is sort of the vibe, the application you want to build, right? That's what you're bringing to the table. That's what you want to build, while Replit takes care of all the other things. And I think for people who are vibe coding, whether you're using Cursor or Cloud Code, Windsurf, all these types of applications, you're still going to have to think about how you're going to host the application. You still have to think about how you're going to deploy the application, the CI/CD pipeline, all these different things you have to think about. So Replit essentially creates this environment that makes it happen for you. And this was something that they were doing way before, LLMs and AI and stuff like that. But what they have done is to create this agent that allows you to build and set up the infrastructure, all of these type of things. So that's what we're going to be using for today's vibe coding session. We're going to be using Replit, the Replit agent. So basically, I can show you a few things that makes Replit cool. They have an agent. The agent basically plans out your app. It handles things like databases, handles things like authentication. It gives you like a preview so you can kind of view the application as you're building it. And it's really secure as well, right? So they'll do quite a lot for you in terms of vibe coding. And they even have this vibe coding 101, by the way. If you want to go check it out, you can go check out like how they recommend you to vibe code. By now, you should be aware of Andre Kapati's vibe coding definition and stuff like that. Anyways, but yeah, so basically they give you a guide here as to how to go ahead and vibe code. So if you're thinking about like some practical steps and things like that. But I think the best way to vibe code is to just get in and do it. So let's just go ahead and log in. So I'm just going to go ahead and log in right here. This is my stuff. Okay. And right there, you can see an agent that is here. By the way, like if you're someone who wants to kind of learn more about Replit, you could go check out like their documentation as well to see everything that they offer and see like how to get started. They have a bunch of tutorials in there if you want to. And people are building all manner of really cool stuff using Replit. By the way, it's really easy to use, easy to walk through and stuff like that. So these are kind of things people are building in Replit. And this will show you exactly how to build those things out as well. So how to vibe code efficiently. Let's see what they say. Learn AI tools like incredibly powerful. However, they work best when guided effectively. Vibe code is about developing the intuition and skills to steer the AI partners efficiently. And this is very important when it comes to vibe coding. What I've found with vibe coding is like the most important thing about vibe coding is really the instructions. And that's why we're going to take some time to think through our application first. We're going to think through everything we want our application, how we want our application to work. We're going to think through all the various steps. And I think you should spend as much time as possible on this step. So I just have my Notion page here ready to go. So before I even go to type anything inside Replit, I want to go ahead and do that. Replit also supports like a bunch of different languages and things like that. So it's really designed for builders who might struggle when it comes to kind of figuring out how to host things and stuff like that. So they have different frameworks and all these types of things that you could use, by the way, right? But let's go ahead and just go back to the home page. We're going to be using the agent true and true, and we're just going to be guiding it through what we want to build. But first, before we actually start writing this, I want to kind of have a blank paper where I'm just word vomiting what I'm trying to build. And I think this is very important when you're vibe coding. I think you should make out the time. I find actually that I might spend maybe an hour or something like that just thinking through the problem I'm trying to solve, even before I start actually vibe coding. I think it's very important to spend as much time as possible thinking through everything you want, like the flow of your app, how you want it to perform, these types of things. Now, that sounds like a very simple thing to do, but I think more important, very, very important when you're vibe coding. Now, here are some mistakes that I see people make with vibe coding. One, to think that the agent is so smart that they take very small information that you give them and use it to do something interesting. No, agents are smart, AI is smart, but needs a lot of guidance, needs a lot of context. It cannot read your mind. It doesn't know what you're thinking, right? It doesn't know, how you're thinking about building an app or what you're trying to achieve or how you want to accomplish it. It also doesn't have full context of everything that might be happening out there. So new LLM capabilities, new functionality out there, new software functionality, new libraries that might be out there in the open. So the way it builds it's going to use the knowledge it's been trained on. Maybe, with a lot of these vibe coding tools, they also have access to the internet, so you can search, but you really need to provide as much guidance as possible. I think that's really the secret to vibe coding very well. The other thing that is very important when you're vibe coding actually is that you want to take things in chunks, in very, very small chunks. Don't give this thing the entire thing to do all at once. Don't try to one shot it or few shot it, whatever they call it. Like, don't try to do all of them at once. Try as much as possible for it to take things in chunks. Now, I think that might be counterintuitive with regards to something like Replit, where it's basically trying to build the entire application for you. So upfront, you want to provide as much information as possible, and it's going to do the work of chunking it into smaller pieces. And that's what Cloud Code does as well, very, very well. It's like they take, and if you kind of recall, we're talking about deep agents in the last stream, and deep agents are these types of agents that can plan and then go perform these types of actions. And those are the kind of things that you're going to be using Replit for. But first, before we go into the coding, we just want a dedicated place to just simply think about what the application is. So I'm just going to jump in and let's think about what we want to build. Okay, so I want to build an application, right? So I'm just going to write it down. We are looking to build an application that takes long form video content and generates shorter form videos based on specific interesting segments or nuggets of information, right? So the important thing here is, like, when we're building this app, we're saying take this whole long 2-hour video and establish or find specific aspects of this video that are interesting, that contain specific nuggets. That would be great for a short video, right? And I'll say these short videos have to be between 1 to 3 minutes long and should be on their own valuable pieces of content that can be shared out. All right, so that's the main objective. The main objective is take this long video and just take very small segments or small nuggets from this long video. Now, so this could be something interesting if you're someone who streams or if you're someone who has podcasts or things like that. I think people are doing this, but right now you have to have like someone who's editing for you. I do not like editing. It's a pain. You spend so much time cutting and joining videos and things like that. It's just very, very painful. So for me personally, just trying to make my life easy. So a little lazy. So trying to make my life easier here. Okay, so that's the main thing. That's the first piece, right? We take a long form video and we want to take out chunks of it. Now, I think it's always helpful to simplify in your mind how you want the application to work. And I think it's so important. Like, for me, in terms of simplifying the application, I'm going to say input will be videos between 1 to 2 hours long. Output should be, outputs would be something like 1 minute, 1 to 2 minute segments from the video. Or no, it should be like a couple of segments, like one or more video segments. that are 1 to 2 minutes long. All right, so now let's talk about the how. So we know what the what is. We have a very clear sense, very straightforward. We upload a long video and we get some kind of response back, right? So that's essentially what it is, right? But now, how are we going to actually accomplish this? Now, when I think about how to do this, how to solve this particular problem, there are so many ways to solve it. But I'm looking for the most efficient way to solve it. So if a human was doing this, right? Let's think about it. If a human was doing this, they would have to watch the entire video, right? They have to watch the entire long video. They take a 2-hour video, they keep watching it. Every time they see something interesting, they might mark that segment and say, oh, I saw something. There was an interesting nugget of information in this particular spot. And they might decide to write something on it. Actually, if you're using like a video editing tool, you could have like bookmarks inside your video, right? If you're using something like iMovie or these types of things, you might have like bookmarks at specific segments of the video. So a human would watch the entire video and find those segments. Now, like I said to you before, LLMs, because we're trying to use LLMs to solve this particular problem, because LLMs can understand the context of what someone is saying, or they can understand, conversation or talk or a tutorial or whatever it is. It has that capability to understand it. But it can't really watch videos. It can't really do videos. Now, if I remember correctly, I know Gemini. Let me see. Let's actually check this. Gemini video analysis. Let's see, because I know Gemini video analysis. I know Gemini says that they can do this, but even with the way Gemini does this, right? They're still kind of using an approach which doesn't allow this to scale. So you can see that they're saying that Gemini models can process videos and enabling content, okay, blah blah blah. But these videos have to be like passed in, like, upload a video in file API before making a request. For use this method for files larger than 20 MB, videos longer than approximately 1 minute when you want to reuse the file across the board. Okay, so seems like they actually can do this. Huh. So maybe this is the approach we take. Maybe we go to Gemini and see if this is the way to do it. Maybe Gemini has a way of doing this. So client, the model, generate content, model, flash, parts. It seems like it's able to do it. What are the examples given at this? Just a type of another video. Transcribe video and provide visual descriptions. Interesting. So it seems like Gemini can actually do this. I didn't know that. I mean, I know like the way Gemini does this, and this is something that they're doing behind the scenes, is that they take a video and most likely they're going to convert that video into images, because LLMs just cannot read, or most the models cannot read video. Like they can't watch a video and understand what's going on. But what they can do is that they can see images in a particular video and explain what's happening in a specific image. Now, the second aspect of the processing is that they can take like audio, transcribe that audio into text, and then use that text to pass to the LLM, for the LLM to kind of understand what's happening in there, right? So those are the ways that you could use like LLMs or vision models to actually process video content, because video content is pretty specific. It's pretty specific. It doesn't really work just throwing video in there, but it seems like Gemini can support this with their Gemini 2.5 Flash. This is going to be interesting. We have to check it out. I have to check it out. Okay, so let's look at technical details about videos. So supported models and context. All Gemini 2.0 can process video data. Interesting. Models with 2 million context window can process up to 2 hours long at default media resolution, or 6 hours long at low media resolution, while models with a 1 million context can process up to 1. Okay, so it seems like this will solve our problem actually. So I think we might be in luck here. I think this seems like the fastest way to solve our problem. So maybe we'll test this out. What I was planning to do originally when I thought about this was to create this pipeline that will take the video, convert it into audio, and start doing all of that stuff. But it seems like this might significantly reduce the time that it takes us to do. Okay, so to make this happen, I think we need to set up our Google Gemini, Google AI Studio. So let's go to Google AI Studio. Let's see. Let's open our Google AI Studio because it seems like we might be in luck here. We might be in luck here that this is like a pretty easy thing to do, and we don't really need to write like as much code to do it because this thing can do. And by the way, I mean, I don't know if you guys are aware of the fact that Google released some Nano Banana, which is sort of probably one of the biggest releases in terms of image generation because it does really good image generation. Actually, for me, with image generation, I think there's so many facets to it. There is taking an image and transforming it into something interesting. There is text on top of an image, which is one of the hardest things to do with LLMs. And it seems like they're doing a really good job of it. It does seem like it. It does seem like Google is really leveling up their releases. They're trying to top the chart with image generation. The models are getting super good. Native speech generation, URL context tool, fetch information from web links, live audio to audio dialogue. Interesting. I mean, Google is really like, I mean, I think it's at this point, it's just more perception about them than anything. But I think we always knew like they were leading in this AI space anyways, right? They were like leading folks, but you know, they've not been able to capitalize on mind share. So the way people think about OpenAI and Anthropic first before they think about Google. But Google has like pretty cool models and really kind of advancing what's possible here. Okay, so Google AI Studio is a really good place to get our API key because we want to just test this thing out very quickly. All right, so let's go. This is chat. Let's see. Inserts. So there's like videos. Okay, let's see if it can do it. Can it do it? Can you do it with, let's see, analyze. Let's see if the chat can actually do it. Analyze this video. Because the thing told me that you could do it with YouTube as well. Analyze this video. Let's see. Let me just get one of my YouTube videos. Let's see. Get my YouTube videos. Let's just get this one about building a Notion tutorial. Let's see. Share. Let me just copy the link and let's go back to it. So analyze this video, and I'm going to pass in my YouTube video here and say, oh, it's going to take 697,961 tokens to analyze. Analyze this video and map out specific segments and their time stamps. All right, let's see. Can it do this? Token count from prompts has been exceeded. Reduce your prompt size. Oh, okay, so it's saying that this video is like pretty long, so it can't really do a lot. So can I say start from 1 minute to 3 minutes and see maybe if this would work? Would it work? So this is 35,000 tokens. Is that better? Token count has been exceeded. This is crazy. Wants me to reduce the size. Do I have a shorter video? Let's see if I can find a shorter video. So do I have a short video? I have this one that is, how long is this video? This fast MCP one. I think this video is only 13 minutes long. So maybe it might be a good one to try out. So let's try this one and see what's happening there. Okay, so let's say with timestamps and their timestamps. So this is the video. Let's see. Oh, 237,000 tokens. So this is the problem. Like it can't really take, it only takes like smaller videos. So default. So it needs a smaller video, and I don't have a small video here, but it seems like this can work. So it seems like this is something, this is the pathway to follow when it comes to building this. Let's see if they have any examples here that we can work with. See if there is any examples. So it's a video analysis. See, do they have anything here? Recent app showcase. Anything with video? I don't see anything with video. Okay, video analyzer. Let's see this one. Let's see what video they have here. So drag and drop a video file in here to get started. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and download one of my videos, and then we'll check it out. And we'll see the code as well. They're going to give us the code once we're done with it. So let's go ahead and download a video and see what's in there. All right, let's look at the video. Back to home page. I'm just going to download a video that I have. I'll download the actual video. So download recording. Download. All right. So I'm just downloading my video right now. It's a pretty long video. It's actually 4 gigabytes. Man, this is going to be like a very, very long video. Might be really difficult. Let me try downloading a shorter video because we want to test this. So I know it's going to take a longer period of time for building like a full video. So let's do something much more simpler. So Bright MCP this. Let's see if I can download this video. I'm just going to go into my, let me just go download a video that is very short because these videos are pretty long. It's going to be tough. Let's see, prompt circle videos. Where my videos are? YouTube, custom MCP server. Okay, so I have one that I can actually drag and drop in there. All right, let's see. This one is not too. This one might be a little long though, but let's see what's able to do. Now, while it's processing the video, let's see what the code says. This is in TS, so TypeScript. So because we can then take all of this and just pass it to our Replit and say, here's the code. As you're building this out, here's the code. So basically, there's a system instruction. Let's see here. System instruction that says when a video query, call the relevant function only when this is this, generate content. So it's using 2.5 Flash, and then we're passing in a file to 2.5 Flash, and then we return some kind of response, and then it's going to go ahead and do the processing. Okay, and then there's some kind of index of HTML page for this. Then there's a video player. Okay, so it's saying that this is basically something that's been built to do this, but let's see how well it does, because I wonder if it's going to be able to do it. So if you're just joining in, we're building an application that can take a long form content and convert it into shorter videos. And we're trying to use an LLM to do this. And we are currently in the Google Gemini AI Studio place to try and do this because that's one way it can be done. We can also try other approaches, but I think the Google does this natively. So if it does it natively, I think this is the way we should go. So basically, we're going to be taking in the video. I think it's still processing. Is it processing? Is everything still working? Okay, so it's still uploading the video. Render start, render end, uploading. Okay, so it's still. I want to believe it's still uploading as we speak. And maybe it might take a little bit of time for it to do all of that, but essentially, it seems like the Google Gemini 2.5 Flash has the ability to do this on its own. So let's see. It's taking quite a bit of time to upload. So while it is doing that, let me see what the code looks like. So this is the Python code here. It says you take your file, okay, response Gemini, and then you pass the file in there, and then you ask it to summarize it, which is cool, which is pretty cool. So this might be one way to do it, but we'll see what the output looks like when we do it with this approach. But at the same time, I also want to make sure that I am using an approach that can scale easily. So I'm going to try different approaches. So let's note this down. So how first approach, say test with Google Gemini by sending the entire video to Gemini for analysis and returning the output. So we're going to use Gemini as one. But this is the approach that I was actually thinking about. Second approach. This is the one that I feel like it's like, because it's going to be deterministic, right? It's going to be something that I can say for sure. So first step would be take the video, right? Take the video and convert the video into an audio file, right? So the video has an audio file. So the very first thing is you take the 2-hour-long video, convert it into an audio file, okay? Now, take the audio file and split into 20 MB chunks. Now, the reason we're doing this, and I'm going to show you why. So I'm going to open up OpenAI, which has like one of the better transcribing tools out there. So let's try it out. So let's go to audio. So this is text to speech, but what we're really looking for is speech to text, right? That's what we're looking for here, is speech to text, not text to speech. So I'm just going to go to the documentation actually, and we're going to do transcription, audio and speech. So transcribe audio. So when you look at the transcribe audio piece here, it says audio API provides 2 speech to text endpoints. There's a transcription endpoint, and then there's a translation endpoint. So the way the transcription endpoint works is that you take the audio and you pass it in. Okay, so it has to be 25 MB or lower. So we say, okay, 25 MB or lower, we convert it into MP3. So we take our video, we convert it into MP3s or whatever format we have here. And then you pass it to OpenAI to transcribe, and then it returns you text, right? Now, that allows you to kind of say, okay, this is my entire video transcription. But the tricky thing here, because what we truly need is not just the transcription, we also need time stamping. And I think that's the tricky part about building this particular application, is that you need to be able to maintain really good time stamping. So not just transcribing into text, but transcribing into text with the timestamps. So maybe it's something where you say transcribe into text, and then you find where the boundaries are. Minute 1 to minute 2, this was what was said. Minute 2 to minute 3, this was what was said, and so on and so forth. So that when you come back and say, analyze all of that text, you can then say, okay, cool. Based on all that text that's been analyzed, here is a really good segment I saw between minute 1 and 3, or between minute 1 and 2, or between minute 20 and minute 23, something like that, right? So I think that's the fastest way, because again, if you tell it to read the video itself, like looking at the actual video content, that's fine. That's one way to do it. And I think some video some things that you might want to do maybe will rely on that. where it's watching the video. But really what's going on behind the scenes, and I think Gemini is doing this as well, is that they take all of these videos and then they start to chop it up into images. So you have, remember what I said earlier on, you have two ways of doing it. There is the chop all the videos into images, into small images. And this could be like millions of images, because you're talking about each video, a 1 minute video could have several frames in it, like hundreds of frames or thousands of frames in it. So you now want to go look at each of these frames and use a vision model to say what's going on in the frame. To me, this is a crazy way to do it. I mean, you could do it, that there's also the way where you could do it where you say, okay, after every 1,000 frames or after every 100 frames, I want to see what's happening there, right? Because not much might change between, the first 50 frames and the next, 50 or something like that. But it's still a very, very tedious way to do it. So the audio is a really good way, because the audio for me, and especially for my use case, the audio is like where I'm talking in these live streams throughout. So it's about finding specific places where I've said something that might be interesting. So I think the audio transcription is the way to go. And that is the solution that I want to build. But if Google is able to do it, and it seems like they might be able to do it, if they're able to do it on their own, just by passing the thing as, to the model, then that would be amazing. All right, so here we have the video has been uploaded now. So now you could then say generate AV captions, paragraphs, key moments. Okay, they have a key moments piece here. Generate. All right, so let's see. Because they might have built it already. And in that case, I don't really need to do anything. Let's say generate key moments. Let's see. This is pretty cool. And these are like real use cases that are meaningful. Like, to me, this would be really meaningful, because then I can say, oh, this is something that is explore the video via key moments. This is so cool. I didn't know they had built this kind of thing out. This is the thing about Google, is like they're not really talking a lot about the things that they're building as much as like they should be, because they're building some really cool stuff. But they don't really put it out there as they should. Let's see. So AI Studio, let's see. So this is all the processing that it has done so far. It says file is still processing. So it was processing this for a very long time. And now it's starting to look at it. I should have used probably a smaller video, because this is going to be really difficult for it, or it's going to take time. I want to see how accurate it is. I think that's the key thing. Let's see how accurate this particular application is, and maybe we just copy the app itself. We probably don't need to build anything now, because it already has all this built out. So it's interesting to see exactly what they've done here. Video player. This is just more so like the actual video player itself, and the actual API.ts. This is where they have the function that is basically interacting with the LLM. Sorry, excuse me. All right, and then you're basically passing in specific prompts, and when they pass in that prompt, they provide some kind of output. Okay, what's functions.ts? Set time codes for video with associated text. Interesting. So they're doing some of that time stamping piece here as well. So set the time codes for the video with associated text and object lists. Okay. Set time codes with numeric values. Okay. All right. Well, it does seem like they're doing a lot of the work here. That's what it looks like. We'll see. We'll see if it actually does work. Okay. So it's actually gone ahead and done some of that work. Introduction. So it says, this is an introduction. Look at it. Look at this. This is amazing. This is really, really cool. Because what they've done here is that they've gone ahead and added those markers like I talked about. demonstration. Okay, so it says use case internal help desk for company policies, right? So this is me talking about the internal help desk for company policies, which is amazing. And it feels like whatever it is that they're doing, this is really cool. This is amazing. Best practices for building MCP servers. I talk about this somewhere. Yes. Also, sorry, this is best practices for building MCP servers, which is see this one is different. Comparison, best practices for building. This is pretty cool. This is amazing. This is just amazing. Setting up Slack client for Notion MCP. Yeah, initializing fast MCP server and testing it with MCP inspector. Let's see. It does feel like they've done a good job here, Google. Like what I've been trying to build is just they've basically done most of it, and they're using Gemini to do it straight up. So in building our application on Replit, we're going to use this approach. I'm definitely going to use this approach, the same approach they've used here. So we're going to give Replit some of this code and say, by the way, here is a built-out version of this that is interesting. Okay, so now to continue this, let's do one thing. Let's go grab. Let me see. Let's see. It's doing pretty much what I would expect this look like. Let's see. Save it to GitHub. Copy app. Download app. Copy app. Say copy app. How do I copy this app? Download app. Video analyzer. Okay. I'm just gonna put it into. I'm gonna upload it to my. I'm gonna add it as a reference for. So just let's call it a reference. So let's actually approach reference. Let's actually take this approach. And one of the funny things, and this is where I'm kind of getting, should I continue to do this in Replit or should I continue in AI Studio? Because AI Studio seems to have like all the stuff that is required to make this thing happen. All right, I'm just gonna need to grab some coffee here. All right, okay. So here's what we're gonna do. We're going to just we're going to say, let's use Gemini because Gemini seems to understand or have video understanding as something it can do very well. So let's grab this documentation as context for our stuff. So we're just going to say, just going to put it right here. I'm going to say Gemini video understanding article. What I'm really curious about is how it did the timestamping, because that is just so cool. Because that is the biggest part for me personally. That's the part that is really tough. Is the timestamping piece, and it seems to have done it very well based on what I'm seeing. It seems to have done it so well. Initializing MCP server, setting up the Slack client for the MCP agent. Let's see. Even though it started the marker at 2050, let's see if it really got. Let's see. Because I'm just trying to see if it did a good job setting up the Slack client for the MCP agent. That needs to be way behind, maybe. Not really where. Let's see. The other thing is like I can't really see where the video is at any given point. There's a problem with the way it doesn't have like a progress bar or something like that where you could kind of see go to specific aspects. Okay, it eventually gets to the Slack piece based on what I'm seeing. But yeah, this is pretty cool, by the way. This is pretty cool. Setting up the Slack client, demonstration of the Slack agent. Okay, let's see. This is demonstration of the Slack agent, finding product backlog, catalog information. So here, what I notice is like, even though it's doing the good analysis very well of the video, what I'm noticing is that it's not quite getting very specific with exactly where that aspect of the video should start, it's kind of making slight mistakes a little bit. Because this is not because my video hasn't started. The aspect it's talking about hasn't really started yet. Here. Huh. Okay. But either ways, this is a really good way of doing this. And I think this is why I feel I have like I have enough to kind of get started on the solution here. Okay, so this is demonstration, blah blah blah. No, it's kind of getting it right, but I think we have enough to get started. We have enough to get started. It feels like it's able to do it. And if you're just joining in, we're taking a long video and we're using an LLM to find specific aspects of the video that might be interesting to create short videos out of them, right? So that's basically what we're doing here. Okay, cool. It seems like we have a way to do this. We're going to provide this code as context. Add new features and easy. Let's just try it. Let's see. How do I extract the starting point? I'm sorry, my head is always all over the place when I'm building because I'm just thinking out loud. Pardon my messy thinking. How do I extract specific segments? How do I, actually say, how do I create a function to extract specific segments from the video? How do I create a function to extract specific segments of the video and convert them into shorter videos? Let's see if it's able to understand what it should do here. Let's see. Time really flies by because we got into this rabbit hole now and we're like gonna have to go figure it out. Okay, the clipping function. Okay. Of course, that's an excellent feature. But it's getting a function to extract specific video segments and say that shadow clips can be achieved directly in the browser using whatever. Here's a high level, blah, blah, blah. The core challenge is performing video processing and client, which traditionally is server side task. You can now leverage WebAssembly to run this. Okay, we'll use the ffmpg.wasm library, which is a WASM port of FFmpeg. I don't know what all this stuff is, to be honest with you. I know FFmpeg is like a very important library for all of this. Copy to clipboard, collapse with snipset. Okay. Since video processing can take moments, even with it's crucial to provide clear feedback. Okay. All right. I think we have a clear pathway to follow, and we're gonna try the Gemini approach here. So Gemini can take either a video or it can take a YouTube link, which is interesting. It can take a YouTube link as well. So it's not just like it can take it can take a video, it can take a YouTube link as well. So let's continue. Let's just make sure we can get started because right now we spent quite a lot of time going through preparing for it. But this is the work, right? You're gonna prepare for it. You're gonna see what's out there, what works, what doesn't. Seems like this works. Include a URL in the thing as well. So this is how it works. Please summarize the video in 3 sentences, but that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to do a little bit more. What are examples given at 0000? This is pretty cool. This is amazing. Like the fact that you can refer to timestamps in the content is pretty wild, and I think that's what solves our problems for us. So I really don't need to go do the audio extraction thing. I think I need to just basically use this. All right, so the second approach, we're gonna table the second approach for now and just use this first approach. So using using Google Gemini, we're going to do the following, right? Send YouTube URL, video, or direct video upload via because it talks about sending it to a file, right? It says upload a file using the file API before making a request to generate content, or pass inline video data if it is under 20 MB long. Okay, so the two areas we're going to be using is upload a video file using the file system. So I want to grab this link as well. So you can see these are all the things that I'm doing to make sure that I give Replit like a lot of context, as much context as possible, right? So I'm just gonna copy this link and we're gonna call this, we're gonna say this is about uploading file to Gemini for video processing article can be found here. All right. Not sure why it's showing up in this form. Okay. Yeah. So anyways, that's the other thing that's in that reference. Okay, take the video. So we're not doing this for now. I think we're just gonna park this for now because it seems like Google is all we need here. Okay, so via file system. Okay. Establish, create pipeline that does the following. So for this to work, I always love to do things in this specific way, just to make sure that it's easy. I think we need to be able to take timestamp by timestamp. And I think maybe what works might be to say, let's do, I wonder if it makes sense to do it, for every 2 minutes. We say each 2 minutes, we transcribe what's happening for those 2 minutes and then we map it. Because what we need is just kind of a mapping that says, in this segment, this was what was talked about. This was what the content was. And we kind of have this library or this list of different things that were happening every 2 minutes within the video, right? So create a pipeline that does the following. Chunk, process video with Gemini. Prompt should chunk video into. Okay, I think this is where we might have to do some experimentation, because from what we've seen, it looks like we are able to establish specific timestamps anyways. So maybe what we should be doing is making the application one where we're saying, okay, prompt, run the following prompts for processing, right? So we're gonna have like different prompts that run to process the video. So one, establish key moments in the video and their starting and ending timestamps, right? Establish generates overall summary of the video. I think it might make sense as well to try to take like the video and say, go minute by minute and explain what's going on, or go every 5 minutes. I think there might be value there, because telling it to do an overall summary, yes, that's fine, but maybe it doesn't get us everywhere. Establish the key talking points. Yeah, that could be it. Key talking points in the video and time stamps for where they were mentioned. Now, for my own videos, I think the key thing is also to find demos of working of applications, because I do this type of content where I'm sharing like tutorials and I'm doing some demos while I'm going through it and things like that. So maybe we now start to get specific, find demos and their timestamps. And in so many ways, this approach is more like search versus and Gemini is basically abstracting the entire thing. they're abstracting the entire thing. They're doing everything, all the processing behind the scenes. All right. Okay, cool. Find demos and their timestamps. Find code walkthroughs for specific concepts. All right. So I think these are like all the different types of prompts that we want to have. And then when we're done with all of this, we want to store results in a structured format to give so basically we want to store them almost like, oh, not sure what's going on here. Just gonna remove this. So let's put in code. And let's use this to explain what we're looking for. So it could be something like, right? We could do something that looks like segment title, right? And in that segment title, you give it a name. So discussing MCP servers. And then you have segment start time, which would be like some kind of number, timestamp. So that could be like 105 or 1, could be 103 or something like that, right? And then you have segment and time, which should be something like 204, something like that, right? And then maybe you want to have, because you still want to use the text for something, transcribed text. So one important thing when you're building LLM-based applications, and I tell people this all the time, is always important to kind of find a way to store any results you're getting in structured form, because this is what we're going to be storing in our database, so that whenever I generate a segment, I can go back and look at it. So I can go back and say, here are all the segments I saw and blah, blah, blah. And then I can choose the one I want to convert into. And then the other piece in terms of things that we want to do is store video as create video, right? So create video from segment. So this takes the video, the timestamp, start and end, and converts into a short video, right? So that's one function that needs to be there. So let's talk about how a user is going to interact with this. How will a user interact with this? How will a user interact with this? So this is how a user is going to interact with this. And by the way, I need to take this approach using Google Gemini. I'm going to put in the link here. And then we're going to say, yeah, the files here and things like that. Okay, cool. So we know what we want to build, what we want to build. We know how we want to build it. Let's just talk about how a user is going to be interacting with this, because we want to talk about the UI. UI makes it easy for your agent to know exactly what to build. So user logs, signs up using either Google or username and password. User starts a processing session by either uploading the video or by providing a YouTube link. This kicks off the process. Okay, user should be given an option. User is given an option to select what type of processing they want. So this can be summarize, show, find key segments, because we don't want to always create videos, right? So what we want to do is to make sure that so when a segment is created, that we can show the segments, right? And then they can decide if they want to download or not, right? So find key segments, find, and then maybe at some point we can say, some custom requests. That would be nice to have. But now let's not pollute our instructions. When pipeline runs, user sees the notification, sees the steps of what is happening, because we always want to have transparency into what's going on so the user kind of understands. User is given option to adjust final results, because here's one thing, and we saw it already when we looked at the Gemini results, right? When we look at Gemini results, there's still some small issues like that we saw, like in terms of like where it kind of put its timestamp and things like that. So what you want if you're building your own application is a way for it to for you to adjust that, right? If I'm building, I want to be able to adjust, rather than starting from this particular timestamp, start from this other timestamp. Because I think what I can accept, or what I can agree with, is that maybe it's going to be okay, like it's going to be fine. It's not going to be like perfect, right? And that's fine, and that's okay. But what I'm looking for is a rough estimate, and then a way for me to be able to adjust it. User is given option to adjust the final segments, e.g. changing the start and end timestamps if they do not quite match. Video playback manipulation would be important here to see the start and times. Okay, so this is going to be good. I think this is I think we're now at a point where we have a lot of cool things. There are a few things I need to do. I need to grab like a Google Gemini API key, so I'm going to grab that as well. But I think we have quite enough to get started. This is our prompts. I think there's still things to talk about. I'm going to leave it to Replit to think about infrastructure, but let me just give it rough guidance of how to think about infrastructure. So infrastructure guidelines. I love to use, PostgreSQL. So database preference would be PostgreSQL. We're gonna need some storage. Storage would be needed for storing inputs, videos, and their segments. I think roughly those are the two main things. I mean, you need a database and you need some storage. That's what we need. So I think this is good. We're looking to create I'm going to call this a micro application because I wanted to know that it's a micro application that takes long form content and generates short form videos based on specific interesting segments. These short videos can do this. Okay, cool. Amazing. We have all that we need. So let's grab all of this. Let's copy it into Replit so we can let the fun begin, right? Let the fun begin. Okay, cool. So I'm going to put it in here. And I'm going to tell it that I have also added a sample application showing how to use Google Gemini for video analysis strictly for reference, right? Because I fear that it might just go and try to create that. That's not what we want. We wanted to just use that for reference. So let's upload that. Let's make sure it has access to that. Downloads. Oh, way too much in my downloads. Let's see. I already have it here. So you just basically drop it in here. Okay. And for reference, let's discuss this before building. Let's discuss the approach before building this out. It's always important, right, when you're bytecoding to go to, I mean, it's going to do that anyways, but I don't want it to just start spitting out some code because then it might just go in a different direction. I want it to confirm with me before it does anything. Confirm. Let's confirm approach before we get started. All right, I'm just going to increase this a little bit because I think it's a little small. Okay, so we have our full-on thing. We have everything here. We have video analyzer. All right, so let's get started. Now, by the way, with Replit, you can also improve your prompts if you're looking to get some help from the AI in terms of your prompts. Now, while it's doing this, because I know it's going to ask me some questions, let's go grab our API key from the Google Studio. Let's grab a key. Let's grab a key. Let's see. Look up API key, create API key. In here is my API key. Select the project. Circle. Create API key in existing project. Yes. Okay. This is a mistake because you've seen my key. So I'm gonna have to just basically destroy that key. Let's just destroy it. September 7th. Destroy the key. delete that key. I'm just going to put this here while I get my key. So create key. All right, let's create a key. I'm going to go ahead and grab this key. So I have my key right here. And all right, amazing. Key is gotten. Copy key. I'm going to put it in somewhere safe so I don't forget it. And then let's go back to our application. So add back on stage, remove and add back. Okay, so I understand you want to build a micro application for automatically generating short video form from long video form content. Let me break down using AI analysis. Let me break down objective. Okay, long form video. So you understand what we're trying to do. Core value, automatically identify and extract the most interesting, valuable segments from lengthy content. Key features, Google Gemini integration for video analysis, user authentication, Google Auth or username password, video processing pipeline with multiple analysis types, interactive segments for this, Postgres database for database persistence, and so on and so forth. Okay, approach discussion. Before I create a detailed plan, I'd like to confirm a few architectural decisions. Okay, let's see. All right, your vision includes several high complexity features that we should approach strategically. So it's telling me that we need like some kind of MVP for this, which is fine. Real video processing such editing, this is computationally intensive. Large file upload storage requires significant infrastructure. Yeah, this is 2025. Maybe not too sophisticated. Okay, real-time processing feedback, complex state management. Suggested MVP approach, focus on the AI analysis pipeline first with mocked video generation. We can demonstrate the core value without the video processing complexity initially. Why would we do that? I'm leaning towards a full JavaScript approach, which is fine with me. React front end for rich video player interactions, Express.js backend for API handling, Google Gemini integration, PostgreSQL for data persistence. Processing pipeline strategy, a multi-step analysis approach is excellent. For the MVP, we could implement the Gemini video analysis, store structured results as you specified, mock the actual video cutting and generation initially. It's trying to mock some part aspects. Would you prefer to start with YouTube URL processing or file uploads first? Are you comfortable with mocking the video generation to focus on the AI analysis pipeline? Let's start with YouTube and yes, let's start with YouTube videos first. And let's prioritize the processing pipeline first. We will look at the rest later. Okay, so I'm agreeing with the MVP suggestion here, which is let's just do video processing first, and then we'll come back to the other aspects, which is fine, which is okay. I think I'm cool with that. Let's do that. All right, let's see how it's working. So again, you can see that it's kind of in the planning phase first, where it's just basically thinking through what's going on before we actually get started, right? Before we actually get started, it's just thinking through what's going on first. Okay, so it's starting to build now. So it's at work, and you can approve the plan when it is ready. So let's go look at the plan here. So again, when I talked about deep agents the last time, I think a big aspect of deep agents is you want it to have a planning stage, and that's what it's doing right here. So it's before it actually jumps into actually build anything, it has the plan. So it says modern app, Gemini AI, PostgreSQL database. Agent can work on these tasks after initial version. So add video segment, because this is later. This is the actual feature list of what it's going to be building out. So YouTube URL input validation, video download and processing pipeline using Google Gemini, AI-powered video analysis with multiple processing types, key moment identification, overall video summary, key talking points. So it's basically taking all the steps that we've given it and it's now kind of put it together like this: code walkthrough detection, structured data storage of analysis results in PostgreSQL, which is great. Processing status, tracking, and user feedback, results display with timestamp navigation. Beautiful. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to approve the plan. By the way, you can decide not to approve the plan and just basically, edit the plan if you feel like it's not really giving you what you want. So here we have it. So it's giving us, okay, so basically has the ability to do this. I'm surprised it hasn't asked me for my Gemini key yet, because it should do that. It should give me that. This is one of the things that they've added to Replit. Because of how long running these things are, you can actually use this to get notified on your app. If you're using the Replit app, you can get notified whenever your the work is completed and stuff like that. Because maybe you don't want to sit down and look at this. Okay, so the UI is fine. I think for now I'm not really that bothered about the UI, if I'm being honest. I think I care more about like the actual pipeline processing. We'll come back to UI and make some of the but it's beautiful for something that is just just a one-shot thing. It's doing a really good job. Doing a really good job here. I'm gonna get some coffee. Some caffeine is always good. All right, I have caffeine and kombucha. My two, or coffee and kombucha, I should say. My two go-tos here. I'm about to run out of coffee. Then I'll switch to kombucha. Kombucha has a little bit of caffeine, I believe, right? There's a little bit of caffeine, so always good. Okay, cool. So where are we at? So it says created shared schema. It's doing a lot. So this is all. So this is similar to what a Claude Code is going to do for you. It's similar to what all these other tools are going to do for you as well. Now, what I really like about Replit is that this deploy button here, it's so powerful. I think for anyone who's vibe coding, I think these are reasons why things like Lovable and Bolt and these types of tools are going to be very, very popular for folks who are more, you're not quite a developer, you're not quite an engineer, but you're someone who like just enjoys building. This type of tool might be much better suited for you because you don't have to worry about like spinning up a lot of environments, managing these environments. This agent basically is doing all of that stuff for you. So I think that that's value there, right? It just makes it much easier. And you could see like it has everything contained. It feels to me like if we're being honest, actually, this is probably one of the best for vibe coders, because you can build and then deploy. It's not just about the UI. It's not just about the app that you're building. It's basically how you deploy. At the end of the day, how do I get this thing into production, right? That's the most important thing here. Okay, so let's see. I mean, this is too busy for me, in all honesty. There's a lot is happening in this specific piece. So you could upload the video here and stuff like that. Okay, cool. And by the way, I was trying this out for my kid. I was thinking about like education for my kid. I'm gonna maybe do a vibe coding session for this later on, where we'll try to build something like a children's game or a children's educational tool. Because now I think this is the beauty, right? If you're a dad or mom or whoever you are, or your teacher or something like that, you can just go in and vibe code your own tools to help your students, to help people, and stuff like that. It's amazing. We live in amazing times, right? We live in very, very exciting times where you can do these types of things. I think that's the true power of AI. It's like just accelerating your ability to do these types of things. These are things that we've taken so long. So think about how long it takes to write all this UI. And bearing in mind, I'm terrible at design and UI design. So we're taking quite a lot of hours in just in a few minutes. So a lot of the work, and I think that's the key thing. A lot of the work is really around the planning side of things, like how you plan, how you get prepared, how you write a prompt. And I think even though this prompt is a very long prompt, it could even be longer. It could even have way more context to make sure that all of that is done. And we've given it like an approach to tackle it and things like that. Because maybe if I told it to just do it, it wouldn't know exactly how to go tackle it. Giving it an example, giving it things that helps it, seems to be doing a good job of kind of figuring out how to go do it. Okay, so it's building out a lot of these things. Interesting. It's just building them out, doing step by step by step. Now, while it's doing this, I want to just go a little bit and see, okay, so I want to understand exactly how it's going to be building this out. Like how is it going to, how is it actually going to build the specific aspects out? And so you can see the code that it's writing. Now, who wants to read all the code? Nobody. I'm being honest. But if you want to, you can see it. I want to see it. What I want to see actually are the what I want to see are the actual functions that it's writing. So server routes, services, YouTube TS. What's YouTube TS? Is it just like a YouTube? Let's see. Is it doing like, I wonder if it's using, let's see here. It seems to be using like create video from YouTube URL. Create a video from YouTube URL. Get API videos. He's authenticated. I wonder how it does this. Has to use whatever examples are provided in that thing. Gemini. Okay. Video analysis results. So Google Gemini API key. So it should be asking me about this at some point, shouldn't it? All right. So there we go. And you can see this. This is really, I think this is where something like Replit shines. This is where it shines. Where it truly shines is that you don't have to think about creating this PostgreSQL database. And I think for me personally, I think this is where I started learning how to code like a while back, and actually that was a time when I was really enamored with the idea of writing code, like just sitting down and writing the actual code, and it's exciting, and it still is actually when you write code. But I'm more interested in problem solving than I am in code writing these days. I think this is where AI just sort of levels up, right? If you're someone who's like, you're someone who just loves to solve problems. You have problems that you want to solve. You understand what those problems are. You want to solve them. This is much easier. Like you can just go in and say, "Oh, here's a problem I want to solve, and here's how I'm going to go solve it." All right, it's asking us for our Gemini key. Let's see. I'm going to tell it. I'm just going to make sure it's in this mode so that my key doesn't get exposed. So I'm going to put my Gemini API key here. Oopsie. All right. And then I'm going to say continue. Add to account secrets. Yes, let's do that. Let's make sure it's over there available for us to use. Okay. So now we now have access to our API key. So the API key has been added. There's some errors. After it did generate the thing, there was a few errors. So it's just trying to solve the errors. Let's see. And you see these database stuff, or let's say you wanted to use Redis, you want to use some kind of storage. All these things are the things that are really hard when it comes to building applications, right? They're the things that are hard. And with something like Replit, it just takes all those things and says, okay, don't worry, I got you. I'm going to take care of all of that stuff. So I think for people who are vibe coding, for me personally, I would say, don't worry too much about like things like Cursor and Cloud Code. Now, yeah, if you're looking to learn how to code and stuff like that, yeah, it might be a good environment for you to work in. This is a way better. I think this is a really good environment. I wouldn't say it's better than Cloud Code if you're an engineer. If you're an engineer, Cloud Code is the best. There's zero arguments about it in terms of like when it comes to an agent that codes up really, really special applications. It works directly in your terminal. It does such an amazing job. But if you're someone who's a builder, and I distinguish between builders and engineers. Engineers are really, really focused on writing software, architecting software, and they're really into it. Writing the code and things like that. Builders, on the other hand, are people who want to build products, right? So you're looking to solve a particular problem in your business. You're looking to solve a particular personal problem, like I am trying to solve in my own personal sort of thing. I'm just trying to solve a problem that I have that I see every day. And I think one of the best things to do with AI is actually solve your own personal problems first, because that allows you to understand how to solve other problems as well. And for me personally, I care more about like the building of it. So if I can offset all the coding to AI, I just care about the final product at the end of the day, right? That's really what I care about. Okay, cool. It seems like it's built out this landing page as well. Never told it I want a landing page, by the way. So not sure why it went to the landing page thing. I think the landing page thing is okay. Yeah, I want to turn this into some kind of business or whatever it is, but that's not necessarily what I'm trying to do here. I'm just trying to build something that I want to use, but it's okay. It's fine. It's all good. So it says login. So I'm just gonna go ahead and log in with my this allow. So this allows me to log into it. Okay. So Replit has their own sort of authentication system, by the way. So you can use the authentication system to do some of these things, like logging in and stuff like that. Okay, let's go find a YouTube video for it to work with. I wanted to find something that is small. So I'm going to use this one. This one is not too heavy, not too crazy. Let's try this out. So I'm going to use this link. But it seems to be still working. It's still working on something. So it says that there are some errors that it's trying to solve. Reset application, it found this LSP errors. The user has confirmed that the Gemini key has been added to replicate, and a 4-1 authentication error. Let's fix this. Let's push the database schema to make sure it's properly done. Okay, that's done. Let this considering options determining next steps. I think the other thing about Replits that you might want to keep in mind is that one thing with Cloud Code is like you hit the limits pretty fast. Now I don't know what AI model Replit is using, and if is it a cheaper model, or anything like that. I don't know. I have no idea. But it might be cheaper to use Replit actually than to use Cloud Code. It might be cheaper. It might be cheaper because you're getting quite a lot for $25 a month, something like that. So it might be cheaper. So I would say if you're a builder, if you just care about putting your product out, and that's the most important thing for you, then this is the way to go. If you're a software engineer, you're doing work like myself, doing work every day, and you need to build software, you need to maintain software, and all of these type of things, then Cloud Code is for you, right? But this for building tools is pretty cool. All right, so fix the use auth hook type issue. I need to fix the type issue with the user. This okay, so it's just fixing a few issues here. Let's see if I put this in here. Ooh, why is it doing that? Okay, let's copy the URL again, and let's go to throw it in there. All right, let's load it up. Is it gonna work? Nope. It says it failed. Failed. So it's testing it. All right, perfect. I've successfully set up your YouTube video processing. Here's something else that is really cool with Replit, by the way, is this sort of rollback. One of the things that you find when you're building these applications using any vibe coding tool is that at some point the AI is going to do something crazy. It's going to do something really wild. It's going to drive you nuts. It happens to me, and it's making me more careful about how I want to use this thing. Trying as much as possible to be really, really focused on the things I'm building. All these types of things, like putting all these guardrails, and all the guardrails is on you. It's your discipline. When you're using AI, it's about your own discipline. If you don't have that discipline, it's going to be problematic for what you're building. So I think for me personally, I would say that having things like rollback at different periods and having the AI actually handle that is pretty cool. You can see the different changes that have been made. You see where something has been modified. You see that this is really doing a lot of work, in all honesty. If I'm being completely honest, Replit has like probably an underrated solution here. Okay, so 5 minutes of work. So it's telling me that it's time to test. Okay, so let's go back to preview. All right, let's drop our YouTube link in there and load. All right, so let's see what it's gonna do here. It says the YouTube is wrong. Is it saying the YouTube URL is wrong? Let's see, share. I don't think it's wrong. I'm gonna copy this. Okay, the biggest aspect of building apps with using AI is truly the debugging side of things. All right, so this is where all the work starts. Okay, so we're getting an error. Okay, so I'm going to say I have attempted to add a URL, a YouTube URL, and I am getting the following error. So I want to grab the error here. And if it's easier, just take a screenshot. Always better actually take a screenshot, if I'm being honest. So take a screenshot and throw it in there and say, here's my screenshot. And then you want to just say, send. Okay, so giving it this the error. So this is really where it earns its money. It's solving the problems, because it might be somewhere. I really don't know what the issue is. I think there's a way to see. Let me see, dev tools. Let's see what you could see, the console, to see what's going on. So when I do this load as an example, this is where I can see, what's actually happening. But it's actually doing some work. Because I can see the issue. The system is missing the YouTube downloading tools. Let me install the required dependencies to fix this, and then it's going to go ahead. So it says install YTDLP, FFmpeg, and so on and so forth. So there was something that was missing. Let's try again. All right, let's see what the console says. Okay. Is this still working? What's going on here? I can't tell if it is working or not. Did it load? Nope, I don't see anything. Loading. The error is continuing, so same error is persisting. I wonder if I need to refresh this thing. Do I need to refresh it? The code installed, but it's still trying to use YouTube DL as a fallback command. Okay, so it's an installation issue. It's referencing the wrong thing, I think, is what's going on. All right. Just chatting with someone there. Okay, let's see. Um, okay. So the issue is that the YTDLP, but it's trying to do this. Okay, so it's still trying to solve the problem. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, so I can see that YTDLP is installed and working. The issue is that it's doing this. Okay, cool. And just going through and solving these problems. So you can expect, I think when you're using these vibe coding tools, you can expect that there's going to be a ton of errors. A lot of them. A lot of the time, you're spending most of your time trying to debug these errors. And I think that's the biggest thing. Okay, so it's seems like it's done that. I'm gonna refresh this for a second. Let's grab our video once again and let's go back and try it out this time around. Okay, so let's load this up and see if it works. For whatever reason, I don't see. Let's see. Let me close this down. Actually, the dev tools. Let's see. Load. Is the same error popping up as well? Yep, same error, same issue, same error. Now, what's surprising to me is that these dev tools don't have any kind of like there's no information happening here. Like I don't see anything. I don't see I don't see anything showing me what's going on. Let's tell it if the YouTube it says that YouTube is blocking the download with a 403. This is come on updating and using better download options. I can just tell it let's switch to video uploads and use the processing if the video the YouTube is failing. Okay, it seems like I can actually upload videos as well. So maybe that's the approach I'll take. Let's just do it one more time. And then if it's still failing, then I'll just basically just upload. Yeah, it's still failing. Let's upload a video. Let's try video uploads instead. So I'm just gonna go into my video, OBS upload, blah blah. Okay, now we're gonna go into streams that we've had in the past. Custom mission server. This is a 770. Okay, just gonna upload this. Let's try direct upload and see if it's able to handle this. We'll come back to the YouTube piece. I think we'll implement the YouTube API. Maybe that might be an easier way to do it. And we can go with that approach. But I think we can upload the videos. Let's see. Let's see whether the console is logging anything. And this is the funny thing. The console is not logging anything. Not logging anything. How about network? Let's see. User videos, get videos, upload videos. So pending. This is currently running. Okay, so you can see something is going on there. Oh, okay. Video has been uploaded, which is great. It's amazing. Okay, so let's do key segments and summarization, start processing. Ooh, I'm sure that there's an error. This is too short. Okay, let me just close this dev tools for a second. So when I do this, your video is being analyzed. You see progress updates below. Where am I seeing the progress updates? I don't see no progress updates. There are no progress updates here. So let me flag that. YouTube is still failing. Let's focus on uploaded videos. Keep in mind that we need to show the progress of the video, or actually let's say focus on uploaded videos. Just uploaded a video and I was told that the processing is in progress, but I do not see any progress bar or any indication that the processing is happening. And I also think it would be great to display the video to show that the upload was successful. Regarding, and one thing we do is like, because sometimes what tends to happen with these AI tools is that they miss context all the time. So let me give it some stuff to work with. Let me just give it some stuff to work with. Here are some files that might be interesting to point you in the right direction. Okay, I'm just going to paste in as many of those files as possible because I don't know how it would have handled the zip file that I give it access to. So this is one. What are the utils? This is for time code splitting. Let's copy that over as well. Let's see, app.tsx, API, TSX. Let's just make sure it has all the information it needs. Because I think that's the important thing here. Let's make sure it has all the information it needs. Oh, is this too much? Let's just see if it has like, oh, I should have done better. I should have said, here is the reference code you provide shows solution. We need to use Gemini file API instead of yep. So this is it. It forgot to do that step. Even when I provided it with a link to it, it forgot the step where we said there is a restriction between 5 MB. And this is why, like, when you're vibe coding, what I find most of the time is that a lot of your time is spent with just providing the right context so it understands what needs to happen. Because most times it doesn't. It just doesn't. It just doesn't get a sense of really what's happening, right? Okay, so it's still working, which is good. It's now seeing what the issues are and it's trying to figure it out. Let's see, the video upload work, but there are two main problems. Gemini analysis is failing because video file is too large to convert to this. Okay, needs improvement. Video preview is missing. The reference code you provided shows the solution. We need to use Gemini's file. This and that. Okay, cool. Nice. More context. The more context you can provide, the easier it becomes. Makes it much easier to work with. All right. I really enjoyed this, by the way. I really enjoyed doing this. I've always felt really a certain kind of way, coding in public and things like that. And that's just basically because of the way I started building initially. So it's great to do it in public and share learnings and things of this nature. And yeah, so I'm excited. So let's see. Okay, it says the task has been completed now. Decided on Gemini File API, which is great. So it says test application loads correctly, blah, blah, blah. Now, here's one thing about building agents with these, or building tools with these tools: memory. And I think memory, generally speaking, is probably one of the most difficult aspects of any solution you're building. Memory is really, really difficult. And how they manage memory in Replit is kind of abstracted from you. With Claude Code, you have to do things like add things to memory. There is the concept of compacting the session, all these types of things. That is really where a lot of the work is. So, so they've done that. They've basically taken a lot of this optimized agent memory and then all this stuff, which is really important. Okay, cool. Let's check. Let's check where we are at right now. So, started processing. Your video is being analyzed. You'll see progress updates below. Still cannot see any progress updates, by the way. So progress updates are still not really happening as we would want it to. It's really, nothing is really happening when you say, process or anything like that. It's just basically detection, code walkthroughs, start processing. Now we have our video preview working. Still do not see any processing or progress indicator here. This is telling us that it's processing, but we don't see anything. We don't see it. All right, so let's provide that to it as context. So I find that taking images sometimes is just the easiest thing. Grab the screenshot and throw it in there as context. Okay, so this is pretty cool, by the way. Let me see. Let's see. I'm just gonna. Is the video working? Is the video player actually working? Yeah, video player is working. So all good. So we have a video player working as expected. I can see the issue. The processing has started. I can see processing. Notification shows uploading file video, but there is no visible progress indicator on the page. Let me fix progress and status. Okay, so it says it's working behind the scenes, but let's see if that's the case. Processing status, hot updated. Okay, let's look at the network. Let's see what's happening. So, okay, job get. This is post processing. Okay, find segments region. This beautiful. It's working through it. This is going to really save me a lot of time, by the way. Like, just going to save me so much time being able to take my videos and just process them like this. So this is going to be a valuable tool for me to use. And I think getting into the habit of building tools that I want is something that's going to be a lot of fun. Like, I enjoy it. I enjoy building more than anything. So being able to sort of build the things that I need, I think for my own craft helps me to continue to build and learn new things, and I can learn to open with you guys and things of that nature. But yeah, it's fun. It's amazing. And I think I'm going to be using more Replit now that I've seen some of this. I mean, I think for core engineering stuff, I think Cloud Code is something I'm going to continue to use with Casa. But I think for these types of tools where I just want to build something very quick, just for my own use and stuff like that, I'm probably going to be using more of Replit than any other thing. Actually, it's much easier to use. Okay, all right. So it's helping us put together a progress bar to show us exactly what's going on when we actually try to process the video. So I think if you're just joining in, basically we're building this application where we upload a very long form of content, and we want to establish segments that can be good for short videos, right? So that if we want to post our YouTube shorts, or we want to post, small videos that are, that are taking specific segments that make sense. This would be really good for a lot of different use cases beyond like sort of for content creators. I think it'd be great for education purposes. So if you want to create small nuggets of tutorials or things of that nature from a very long form lecture or content, you could use something like this to do it. So that's what we're building here. I'm going to also make this available, by the way, for folks, if you want to use it, if you want to try it out, if you want to test it out, these types of things, I'm going to publish it. And that's the cool thing about Replit, by the way. You could basically publish the video, the app you're building, and people can just go use it at any point in time. Thank you, Sona Wave Tech. Thank you for joining in, and thank you for the comments. Appreciate it. And by the way, feel free to drop any questions or comments or anything like that you feel as we go through this. If you feel like there's anything that you want to learn more about and stuff like that. We're using Replit to build it out. I know like this has been a very long stream so far, 1 hour 51 minutes into it. And what we started with was just basically going through every, sort of writing out exactly what we wanted to build out. We gave it to Replit, and now it's sort of building it. And we're just going through the process of finding the challenges, the bugs, and trying to solve for them because there are a few bugs. So we've gotten to the point where we can upload the video. I think the thing that we're trying to solve for is like seeing the actual processing as it happens. I'm going to hide this dev tools here to see. So it says that video is processing. This is still not working as I expected to. It says the video is being analyzed. You see progress updates below. I don't see the progress updates. It doesn't show any progress updates. So that aspect is still not working as we expected to. I'm going to refresh this and see if it anything to do with the refreshing. Let's see here. So we're saying we want to capture key segments and summarization here. I'm going to hit the start processing button. Still doing the same exact thing, not showing us exactly the processing. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell it. Progress is still progress indicator is still not showing up. Can you fix that? And I want to give it like a link. Let me just try it again and then get a screenshot so you can see exactly what's happening. So once again, I'm just going to take this screenshot and I'm going to put it in here. And then let's go ahead and try it out. All right. So let's see. I mean, there has to be something wrong. Let's see if we can try to debug what's happening on our own as well. So progress indicator, it says that it did make those changes. So we can go here and see some of the changes. So it said it changed this progress processing status component. And okay, so these are all things that it's changed. All right, what's the best prompts so that features are created exactly how you want it? And I think that was what we were doing like earlier on, is like we went through this process of saying, okay, here's what I want to build. And we went through in fact, the very first hour of this stream was really around going to find exactly how we want to solve the problem. And I think what I was trying to mention at the time was that when it comes to like these AI agents, there are a lot of things that they don't know. Like they don't know those things. Like, like they don't know like the latest models have been released. you have to help them get to that point, or the latest ways to solve a particular problem. You have to help them. So we went together and said, here's what we're trying to build. We said, here is the, approach that we want to build with. And we explained to it what we want, final output to look like. What we explained to it how we want it to work. So we went ahead and did a lot of that. And then we also took like an example that we found from Google AI Studio, which had like a similar solution. And we took all of that code and we gave it to it. Now, I think there's so many things you can do if you're someone who's really good with design, or you have like good design tools, like Figma or any other sort of design tools. You can also design and pass in these screenshots and things of that nature. But I think it's about really writing out very, and this even is a very short prompt actually, even though like it looks a little long. I think you can continue to I can continue to refine this and continue to add more information that gives it even more specific details. I think you cannot give it too much instructions. I think you can give as much instructions as possible. I was reading something somewhere about Claude Code and the instructions behind Claude Code. And it mentions that there are thousands and thousands of lines in the system prompts for Claude Code. So I think we should spend more time writing these system prompts, like to make them as long as possible, explaining every little detail. Like even with all the explanation that I did, initially when it did run, it still forgot this specific piece of information about, and I gave it the link to understand it, but it still forgot it. So for instance, if I upload a file that is above 20 MB, I can't pass it directly to my API call to Gemini. I need to use their files API first. And it forgot that, completely missed it. But that's a very nuanced thing that it should have remembered. And it only took me sending it like an example of how to do that for it to know how to do it. So I think it's like, you have to be as expressive as possible when it comes to the instructions that you pass in. That would be like the biggest thing. And also like doing your own research and coming up with like, the specifics of what you wanted to do. Don't rely on it to do it. It's gonna forget a lot of things. Anyways, but that's a really good question. A lot of hand holding. Yes. Yeah. Like, you know what? I think there's a lot of hype with AI. There's so much hype with AI that, oh, it can do all these things. And yes, it can do like amazing things for sure. But what I'm finding is that we have to get to use it as a tool. Now, there were folks who were saying earlier on, don't treat AI like it's a human being or anything like that, because I think that was the very first thing people started doing, is like looking at AI as a human and just telling it something, and it can just go do that. And even if you're working with a human, you still need to give it a lot of context, especially if it doesn't know what you're trying to do. It's definitely not reading your mind or anything like that, right? So, and I think the same thing, it's like, if you're using it as a tool, it accelerates what you're doing, but if you can't really upload a lot of the stuff to it, it needs a lot of hand-holding. Hand-holding is right. And do you know what? For me personally, I have a specific appreciation for where we are at with these natural language processing capabilities that we have today with LLMs. Because in 2013, I was writing industry ontology to teach applications, to teach like, how to recognize synonyms of cell phone versus mobile phone or whatever it is. Like all these things. What is a cell phone? Writing all these industry ontologies, making sure that the systems are able to recognize simple synonyms and things of this nature. So we're so far away from there. So we have like really cool tools right now, but it's just not magical yet. All right. So the other question is, do you know if people can build out their workflows in MCP server and have Replit across to access the workflows? Absolutely. Absolutely. You could definitely have your own MCP server and then pull it in here. I don't know if Replit does talk about MCP servers. Here they talk about, their, like the way to think about MCPs, like, over here. And I'll drop this link in the chat as well, so that if you're interested in in implementing your MCP server, you could use it. And maybe in the next stream, I'm going to be looking at that as well. So yeah, you could basically use the MCP server. One of the fun ones I would say would be something like using the MCP server to access your database. So you could read your database and see if actions that are being taken in your app are happening the way you want it to do. There are people who are building document servers. I think these guys, and I think this is a very cool MCP server. I think they're called Mintify. Yeah, Mintify. Yeah. So is it Mintify? Yeah, Mintify. This would be a really good MCP server, honestly. Someone from my company told me about it. Like they have these MCP servers for documents, because a lot of companies use Mintify for their documentation. So you could use you could have MCP servers for a lot of these documentations and pass them into your Replit or into your whatever you're using for for coding and stuff like that. So yeah, I think yes, you could definitely use these MCP servers inside your Replit workflow for sure. So yeah, feel free to go check it out. I haven't used MCP servers myself inside Replit yet, but I think it's definitely something interesting to explore for sure. I think especially I'm definitely going to do it for database connections, because I think it's the one that is always a big one, and then definitely for documentation, because sometimes I have to paste in so much documentation when I'm building, and it gets annoying sometimes. Okay, let's go back to the app and see what's going on here. So go back to the preview. So I'm gonna refresh this and see if things are looking better now in terms of whether my processing is actually happening or not. So this is the video that I had uploaded. I want to basically start processing. Okay, so it says that processing is video uploaded and validated, uploading to Gemini, pending, processing video content with AI in progress, generating summaries. So it shows me that something is happening, which is fine, but I still don't see, it's really difficult for me to tell exactly what's happening, because even when I open this dev tools, nothing is in the console for sure. In the network, let's look at the network and see what's happening here. Let me just raise this a little bit. So it says something is happening. Okay, so it seems, okay, so what it has done is like, it's taking this async approach where you create a job. This is a very long job. Like when you're analyzing like videos, and I had done this earlier on with this video analyzer from Google Gemini, where you could drop a video and it's going to be able to essentially let me refresh this so you can see what this looked like. Preview back to start. I don't know why is it taking some time. Let's see video. Let's say 90% of the UI works, but 10% needs to be changed. Can you pull the codes locally? You mean with Replit? Yes. With Replit, yes. And I think that's one of the cool things about it is like if you're building and you want to move it over to code, you do have access to all of the code. So you could pull down the code. Let's say you want to use, you could pull down the code into a GitHub repo as well, clone it up, do some work, get back to it. Yeah, you could do these types of things. You could also load up the code from a GitHub repo as well. So if you're working in code and you feel like, okay, I want to go make these changes myself, you can just definitely pull down the code. That you can do for sure. That you can do. Yeah, and I think a lot of people use that approach as well. All right, this seems to be happening. This seems to be working, because I can see definitely that the jobs are still running, right? The jobs are still running. It's still sort of 536 C 538. Okay, yeah, still running. Taking some time, definitely, but it's still running, which is what we want. Now, how long is it going to run for? That is not something that is very clear to me. But it's a 39 minutes long video. So I assume it's going to take a little bit of time. It's 700 MB long. No, I'm not using the free version of Replit. I am paying for it. I'm using the let's see, what is it called? I think it's called I think they call it the is it the pro version? I think it might be a pro version. Let's see here. Oh, Replit Core. It's called the Replit Core version. That's what I'm using. Replit Core. It's $25 a month for the Replit Core version. And yeah, I mean, I think personally, when I think about like the usage limits in Cloud Code and things like that, and the fact the thing about Replit that is underrated is the fact that you can deploy. You can deploy very, very quickly. Um, Obviously, you can use different frameworks to build out different types of applications. But the coolest aspect of it, in my opinion, the coolest aspect of it is the fact that it's these things that nobody wants to kind of deal with. Like nobody wants to deal with like databases, storage, key value store, Reddit, all these types of things. Those are the things that are really, really cool about it. If you download all the codes, will you be able to know if the dependencies can be rebuilt locally? Yes. Usually when you download the stuff, it's going to package up the dependencies into typically like a requirements.txt, or if you're using the pip, it's going to use like a dependency manager to handle things like that. So yes, it will have all those available to work with, which is cool. It also has like a mobile development stuff that you could mobile app that you could use to kind of see how things are running and stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah, definitely has all that stuff is ready to rock and roll. So but it's definitely something that is cool if you're building like a quick tool and stuff like that. Okay, now I can't say for sure what's happening with my app because yes, it seems to be like they're running these jobs to see what's happening, but it's taking way too much time. So I'm gonna do something else. Let's go back to the project database. Seems like it's running asynchronously, which is fine. So I'm just gonna try to load something that is simpler, a smaller video. So I'm just gonna go find me a small video. This is 39 minutes long. My Notion Hero. I'm just gonna go find. Is there a smaller video that I can use here? This is what? This is a 9:45. Now this is a huge video. I need to go find a small video that I can pop in to see if things are good. Let's see. I need to go find the video. Give me 1 second, guys. Just gonna look for a good video here that is not going to take me too much time. Let's see. Custom Notion MCP. Okay, videos, PC web. I think I have a video in my Canva that might be a smaller video. So I'm just gonna download that video. This custom and this instruction templates. Yeah, research agents. Okay, what is A2A? See if I can just download a small video right like that. So let's just make it like a quick three minutes video. Share, download. Sorry, I'm just doing this outside of the view. Just downloading just 1, 2, 3, done, and download. So I'm just going to download this video and then see if the processing is much more faster than what I'm currently doing. what would you do when Replit stopped giving you what you need? Do you have a common workflow? Good question. Good question. If Replit stops, when you say it stops giving me what I need, I presume you say like if their service is terminated. Is that what you're saying? Or how do you mean? Like, I want to make sure I understand clearly before I answer. Okay, and while you're doing that, let me see if I can find my video. What's it called? It's called let me just actually drag and drop it in there. What is A2A? This was a video I made about A2A. So I'm gonna drag and drop. Oh, seems my drag and drop is not actually not working. So this is something else. The feature is not implemented the way you want. Oh, I see what you mean. Then I mean, I think there are many ways you can iterate. Sorry, just 1 second. Let me find this video quickly, get it in there. Why A to A? What is A to A? Okay, cool. So I'm going to put it in there. All right, so let's see if this works. So what is A to A? Okay, so if basically when should you give up and not continue the conversation? Oh, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. I think if you get to a point where a particular problem continues to be you're kind of hitting a wall where it's kind of repeating itself, or it's you kind of you it's more intuition than anything, right? You see like it's kind of banging its head against the wall or something, and at that point you might decide, okay, this is not working the way I want it to work, and I need to kind of step in and use code to solve the problem. But again, you might also want to figure out if it's something that you can find what the problem is and point it in the right direction, or you can go into the code and go make that update as well, right? But most of these things are really good at understanding how to solve problems. Sometimes you have to come up with how it should solve the problem. Okay, so it does seem to be working. So this overall progress, the video contains multiple segments that have been automatically identified and extracted for easy viewing and sharing. No segments found. Okay, so it says that the progress, so this shows that our actual processing is working. But I don't see the video contains multiple segments that have been automatically identified and extracted for easy viewing, but no segments were found. Okay. So I think one thing for sure is that it's actually processing, just that I need to, let's go back to dashboard. I want to see if this one has completed, because this one should have segments. That one was a very small video anyways. So let's see. This one is still running. It's a very long video. I think that's why 39 minutes. So it's taking its sweet time to go do the processing. For those of you who may not know, what we're doing here is we're taking the video, we're sending it into Gemini. Gemini has this video understanding capability, which allows you to upload a video, send it to it, and then you can ask questions of that video. And then for me, I'm using that as a way to kind of extract specific segments within the video. So pretty cool capability, including a YouTube URL, it's a preview, no charge, so yeah. So that's basically what we're doing here. Okay, so I can go back to Replit now and say, okay, one of my runs completed, but I don't see any segments detected. I don't also see a summary. Can you explain why that's the case? Let's go ask it that question, because right now we've done a run which was successful based on what it's telling us, but no segments were, oh, there was a segment. Okay, so I think this is a a loading issue, it seems. It's a loading issue. So what's happening is that it's generated the thing, but I think because it wasn't loaded properly. Okay, so the video opens with the prompt circle intro, followed by a speaker announcing and introducing Google's new agent-to-agent protocol. He emphasizes its importance in defining how AI agents will communicate and interoperate in the future, which is basically what's happening in this video, right? The very first part of the video is me starting off a conversation talking about agent protocol and stuff like that. Which is from Google, by the way. I don't know if you guys, if you're thinking about learning about agent to agent protocol, you could go check it out, check out their website, check out what's going on. It's basically their own take on standardizing. Nobody talks about it anymore. I don't hear. I mean, I'm curious. Have you guys heard about agent to agent framework so far? Is it something that is popular? Is it something you're coming across? Anyway, I've not seen anybody telling me that, oh, I'm using agent to agent. People are talking about MCPs, which is fine, but so curious. So now with tech, are you using agent to agent in anything that you're doing right now, or no? I hear about, I know MCPs for sure, but agent to agent, not sure. I think it's a very elegant framework that they've designed, right? Okay, it's quite elegant actually. I mean, it's when I tried it out, I was like, yeah, this is pretty cool actually what they've done. But I think with Google is like, I think people don't trust. I think people don't trust Google that much. Okay, here we go. The documentation is throwing a 404. Okay, not there. Okay, cool. But it seems like an interesting approach to building agents. But here is a good reason why people don't want to use Google. It's like right now, where is the documentation? All right, A2A docs. Let's see if I can find. Okay, so this is the docs. Maybe they just moved it. Yeah, so the agent-to-agent protocol basically allows you to create these applications where agents can talk to other agents. And what they were trying to figure out is, can we make it in such a way that my agent does not need to know what your agent or doesn't need to be built the same way. So I can be using a LangChain agent, you could be using a Crew AI agent, or you could be using an OpenAI agent or any other agent framework, and we'll still be able to communicate with one another. I can send, I can send tasks to a particular agent. It can try to solve that task and then get back, and stuff like that. Yes, that's always the fear, right? Always the fear is like people, I think from a library or open source project perspective, people don't always trust that Google are gonna go ahead and maintain their products over a long period of time, right? And I think that's what's getting them, right? But from what I saw from the examples, and you can see like this is an example of an A2A expense reimbursement agent. It's an interesting approach to building agents. I like the way they're thinking about it. I like the fact that they're calling, the agent has a prompt, the agent has skills. So skills are basically tools. Those skills can be MCP servers, So it's pretty much something that has been thought out properly, if we're being honest, if I'm being honest about how they've approached it. But anyways, if you're looking to learn more about it, you can check out the video that I have made about A2A. If you want to get a very quick synopsis of how A2A works, I'm going to put it in the chat. Actually, let me just put it in the chat. So if you're interested in looking at it, you could go check it out. I believe it's just a very quick video you could watch. It's 21 minutes long, and just talks about like different things. I'm gonna throw it into the chat. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, and also it comes with a UI. So like things like a chat bot, you don't need to think about building it yourself. They provide a UI. They also provide a lot of observability about how it works. So you could see, like, you could trace how your agent is working, all these types of things. So interesting framework, but nobody's using it. I've never heard any, not even one person tell me, oh, yeah, I'm using A2A to do anything interesting. Not seen anybody tell me that. But MCPs are way more advanced and way more in use. I think everyone is using MCPs. Every company is working hard to adopt MCPs, but we'll see. We'll see how it all pans out. So it seems like Gemini is definitely doing a good job. Going back to the app that we're building, is doing a good job of finding the segments, right? So let me see, preview the segment. When I say preview, what's happening? Nothing much is happening here. There's no thing. So the idea behind our app is that trying to get the first aid to work. What do you mean? You mean like getting the first agent to work? Is that what you're referring to, so now? Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, so it found this, yes, with good accuracy is a big one, man. Is a big one. And that is why. So here are a few things that I'm thinking about when it comes to accuracy is we have to accept that LLMs are going to hallucinate. That is, I think someone says, is a feature, is a bug. It's everything about that. That's the very nature of how LLMs operate, is that they're always going to hallucinate. So accuracy is always going to be a problem. But I think there are certain things that we've seen LLMs are really good at. So if I provided a bunch of silly, weird text and said extract 20 pieces of information from here that meet these specifications, more often than not, is going to do a good job of it. So it's gonna be able to do these types of things, extraction work, and there's a ton of use cases, where extraction is a big thing. I have a bunch of text. I need to extract specific things from it. I want to convert these unstructured data into some kind of structured format that I can work with and things like that. But I think to the point you're making about accuracy, it's important that you're building in guardrails or fallbacks for those inevitable mistakes. So as an example, with this use case that we're working on right now. Now, I told it to generate these segments and then provide me with the timestamps between the starting point of that and the ending point of it. And right now it tells me that this segment is 0 to 028. But I have also added a fallback for me to be able to edit this in case it's not right. So I think it's about having a really good interface that allows your human in the loop. And I think it's not always going to be easy for every single use case, because some use cases it's probably going to be really difficult to have human in the loop anyways. But for a lot of use cases, you probably just want the human in the loop to validate or verify what's going on. What you're doing is you're making the initial aspect of what they're doing easy, and then you're just basically providing them with a way to validate, verify, and then, kind of, so for instance, if I feel like, okay, well, this is not quite accurate, I'm not liking this particular answer, I can now adjust and say, I want this to end at 18 seconds instead of this. I can save this, and then I know, like, okay, cool. It still made my life easier, because I'm not, it's still made my life easier, to a certain degree, because it found the initial pieces that I wanted. But then you can't really get it all. It's very difficult to get it all. I wonder how should tooling be built to improve accuracy for custom use cases, reflecting on mistakes too. Yeah, I think it's just really having this sort of human in the loop piece. There's a really good guy. There's a guy that I know who's building this startup called Go to Human, and it's an interesting concept. I mean, his idea is that agents are going to need to always have a human in the loop, and as a result, he's adding this capability for any agent you have to always have some kind of human approval built into the workflow, so that whenever you start something, you can always send it to a human. And I think this is a really good idea. And I think for anything to get into production, truly, you need these human in the loop stuff. There are very few use cases that I find where you don't need some kind of human somewhere doing some kind of validation, because, things can, especially when you're thinking about things that are really crazy. I think you need that. So anyways, that's That's my take on it. I don't think I have any elegant answers for this yet. I think we're all figuring it out as we go along the way. We know accuracy continues to increase with these models. They're getting better at accuracy over time. But I found like extraction use cases specifically, summarization use cases, which is a little bit subjective because it may or may not capture every single thing in a particular summary or whatever it is. But I think over time these things are getting better. So we'll have to see. We have to wait and see how things pan out. Okay, it does seem like my application is in a really good place right now. I like where it's at. It's kind of in a good place. It's not perfect yet, but it's kind of in a place where I can start to sort of make more modifications to it to get to where I'm looking for. I've been streaming now for about 2 hours plus. Just to recap what we were doing, we're taking a video, a long form video, and we're trying to create something that can chunk it into smaller segments. And the very first part of doing that is basically being able to use Gemini was the approach that we used. I talked about using a different approach where we could use something like speech to text to convert them into transcribed text and then use that to pass to the LLM to do. But Gemini does all of it all at once, right? Like, so this is like all kudos to Gemini actually for having this type of capability, because this is like something that is going to be very important for people who are creating long form content or the long videos. I think about one use case. I think this might be interesting. It's like videos or podcasts or analysis, like going and looking through video analysis, like let's say financial reporting purposes. You might want to go look at the full rerun of a particular video online, and you might want to use that to capture nuggets or segments of information there that might be interesting. So this could be a good way to use this kind of tool. I'll continue working on it and continue kind of refining some of the pieces. I think the thing I wanted to kind of capture was, okay, I get an input, I get an output. It's looking okay. I don't think it's quite there yet, but it's somewhat much better than where we started from. So we still have some work to be done here. There's still a lot of work to be done here. And by the way, I think I had done it in such a way that it captures everything. It captures is actually in JSON. We have all of this, and we have a database. So I'll continue to work on it. It's been amazing streaming so far. I can hear my baby in the background crying, so need to go see what's going on there and figure things out on that side. I'm really excited and happy to be doing these streams. I'm definitely coming back next week or this week as we launch into the new week. I'm going to be coming up with more streams, diving deep into other areas or building other things that are interesting. So thank you guys for showing me love and support here. Really appreciate it. But until next time, do have a great one, guys, and cheers.